Tsuki Bakugo. He is brash, rude, violent, arrogant, short-tempered, a bully, and an all-around asshole. He is also, in my eyes, the most blatant symptom of My Hero Academia's issue with characterization. Not just because of his overly exaggerated, almost satirical character, but also because of the fact that I believe his character is a symptom of a more general problem with regards to this particular aspect of My Hero Academia, which I will hopefully make clear in this video by using Naruto as a reference point. Before I begin, keep in mind when I say Naruto, I mean Naruto, Shippuden excluded. Considering Shippuden begins at about the 250 chapter mark, I think it's a far more appropriate comparison to the 214 My Hero Academia has at the time I'm making this. This video will be going down a completely different direction otherwise, and one which for the most part would not be favorable to Naruto. So, what the hell do I mean by this? Sure, he is a bit over the top, but is that really that much of an issue? Yeah, it is in my opinion, but mostly because of the reason I believe this is the case. I think that Bakugo's character is a narrative overcompensation. For quite a while now, I've been trying to put my finger on what it was that I actually found lacking about the characterization in the series. And I think that this is it. I think the series suffers from being, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, too wholesome. And this is coming from a guy who's in the past year found out he has quite the affinity for wholesome anime. Hell, Hinamatsuri is now among the only 3 anime that are a 10 out of 10 in my book. I mean this in the sense that pretty much every character in Class 1A is best guy or best girl, which I frankly find absolutely abhorrent as there is only one best girl. Every one of them, apart from Megumin over here, is really good. The characters barely have any real substantial negative traits, and those that do have them are more often than not played up for comedic relief, like Bird Boy's edginess or Grape Boy's perversion. Hell, Horikoshi even stated that he was gonna do something about that, and I honestly hope that he doesn't simply tone it down. That type of behavior isn't really suitable for someone aiming to become a hero in the context of My Hero Academia's universe, or any universe really to be frank, and would make for some good character progression. Give this point some thought. Apart from Bakugo, what other Class 1A student has an outright disagreeable personality, or at least some actually genuinely off-putting trait which isn't played for laughs? Yes, Ida had his character arc with Stain in which he learned the distinction between a hero and a vigilante, among other things, but that was a rather extreme situation. The villain who almost killed his brother and ended his hero career was still on the loose, in the very same city as him, and Ida had the ability to at least try and do something about it. I think his reaction is something the vast majority of people would be able to relate to, or at least understand. Shoto is one of the more developed characters, and his personality and psychology are rather well explored. I'm sure a good number of people can relate to a toxic domestic situation. I do very much enjoy the fact that he didn't go full edgelord mode, but I do think that the whole of his character is somewhat tame considering everything that happened to him. The new developments in the manga with his father, which I will not go into, are interesting and an enjoyable and unexpected turn of events, though I do have the feeling that they are just a little bit abrupt. The only other character I can name with any general negative traits is Deku, being a crybaby initially, but that was more annoying than anything else and has greatly subsided, which is a good thing I might add. To hammer in my point further and make clear what I'm trying to say here, let's take a look at some of the Konoha 12 genin from the good old days of early Naruto. Now, I don't know how long ago you've watched Naruto, but do you remember a good number of the Konoha 12 being kinda dipshits, frankly? Sasuke is an antisocial arrogant ass who can't accept help, and acts like someone killed his whole damn family or some... Okay, still, he's an ass. Shikamaru is an incredibly lazy guy, initially unwilling to accept responsibility, and needs to be pushed to do anything. Neji is an arrogant douche nozzle, who goes around telling half the people he meets that they should just hang up their 50-kilo leg weights, cause destiny has foretold they won't amount to anything. Kiba's simply a douchebag, through and through. All the way from his disposition, his behavior, he even dresses like someone you'd find hanging out below your building stairwell late at night. He's even got face tattoos. Talk about poor life choices, man. I have a few more examples, but I think it should be clear by now what I mean when I say negative traits, or that My Hero Academia characters are too wholesome. But how does this tie back to Bakugo? Simply put, I think that Bakugo is something of a scapegoat, in the sense that all of the negativity of Class 1A is embodied within him. He is super aggressive, super rude, super short-tempered, super arrogant, and a general all-around super douche. Hell, he's basically all for one, but for being a dick instead of quirks. Now, I know that Naruto and My Hero Academia are not the same kind of series. They have completely different settings, and as such, their characters have different problems and obstacles. In one, kids of 12 learn how to stab, explode, poison, possess, crush, prick, and stare each other to death. While in My Hero Academia, they learn to save people, assist in a crisis, have an actual education beyond the age of 12, and in general learn what it is that makes a hero. I'm of course greatly exaggerating for comedic purposes, but the point stands. Ninjas are trained superpowered killers, while heroes are superpowered policemen or firefighters. There's a big difference there. So it follows that being less gritty, the problems faced by characters in My Hero Academia would be more mundane and maybe even true to life. At least compared to Naruto, one might argue. But the thing is, not even that is utilized fully. No group of 20 teenagers have such a huge ratio of genuinely good people, with almost no truly negative traits, apart from the one or two harmless quirky ticks. You have a group of hormonal, superpowered, practically famous teenagers living together, and yet there is practically no drama, no major disagreements that persist between characters, no characters with traits that are incongruous with those of others. Everything is done in the spirit of fun and friendly rivalry, with again Bakugo being the sole exception. Considering his personality, you'd expect for more of the students to honestly dislike Bakugo, but everyone seems to just accept him and get along with him despite everything. Their wisdom and people skills are certainly beyond their years. Quite unrealistically so, I'd argue. By the way, I am not at all saying that the manga has no characterization. That is blatantly not the case. There are multiple examples apart from those I've already provided, like Aoyama getting past his anxiety and lack of social skills, or Jiro learning to be more self-confident about her musical talent. These are all fine and good, but none of them hit quite as strong as when Lee was coping with the fact that he might actually have to hang up his 50-kilo leg weights, or when Neji realized that his fatalistic worldview was faulty, after he got some sense knocked into him by Naruto, and finally reconciled with his uncle. I actually have 2 videos on this specific topic if you want to check them out, but they're one of the earlier ones, so keep that in mind. The points are solid, but the delivery is lacking. I might even redo them at some point. Back to the topic at hand. I get that the manga is primarily one of superheroes and villains, and Horikoshi might have wanted to keep things simple and clear-cut, as well as to go for a more lighthearted and wholesome tone, but considering how a good chunk of the manga is focused on their school life and characters, as well as the actual seriousness and potential danger that being a hero entails, I have to say I'm not really thrilled with that decision. Personally. There are a lot of aspects of My Hero Academia's universe that have the potential for further exploration, especially regarding their side characters. For example, one of the things that interests me personally is how do those with mutation quirks, which greatly alter their appearances, such as Koda or Shoji, deal with that fact. Does it bother them at all? Also, quirks haven't been around for that long. Are there still any remnants of discrimination toward those that look so alien still around? However, considering this thing exists, as well as that Horikoshi went ahead and introduced a student of Class 1B that has a goddamn manga panel for a head, I don't think this is something he'll be going into too deeply. Now, to be fair, he did say that he wanted to do a time skip at some point in the future, with which he would also change the tone of the series to be a bit more dark. If that is indeed the case, that would be a good call on his part. As his readership matures, so should his work. At least that's how I see it. Yikes, I really went plus ultra with the vulgarity in this one. Yeah, when I began making this, I'm pretty sure the manga was at about chapter 212, and I had to redo that part at least 2 times, because of how long it took me to actually make it, and then even more chapters came out because I took even longer, and then I just gave up. Exams be damned. Whining and justification aside, what do you guys think about this? Do you agree at all? Or if not, do you at least see my point? This is my first My Hero Academia video, and feedback would be greatly appreciated. I also just wanted to make sure that there's no misconception. This isn't a video on the general characterization in My Hero Academia or Naruto, just this one particular aspect. In any case, with my ass covered, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it'll be down below. Feedback is always appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one. Before I begin, Before I begin,